good morning. So instead of journaling, like I traditionally do, I'm writing things down in my notebook. I started doing recordings because it was just coming to me so fast, and now here I am, letting you watch me journal. This is my journaling. Presence for self-sabotage, self-sabotaging behaviors. It's become an awareness for sure over the last year and a half of like, is that what self-sabotage is? Like even just these little ways in which I continue to do things that I don't really want to be doing, not listening to my intuition, and then just proceeding down the path of like, oh, I didn't really want to do that, but I did it anyway, and now there's a part of me that's like there's a part of me that was like, anyway, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about self-sabotage. We're going to go down that rabbit hole. And it's been present for me too, because I feel like I'm in this really expansive state of blossoming. Went to this women's circle the other night, and it's like she talks about the blossom moon, and that right now is the time when everything is coming alive, including the birds and the animals, and I mean it's just it's coming alive. And sounds like the neighbor's getting a little rowdy over there. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, the blossoming, it's like I feel like a dahlia that I'm expanding, and there's a part of me that's inside going, all right, not too much, just and there's another part of me that's like, what? I just feel like I just got going, and you just let me loose. Why now all of a sudden you're calling me back in? And then there's those little parts of me that are like, I guess I'll do something maybe that isn't right, maybe great for me, or I should probably say yes to that because I'm obligated. Like I need to do my duties and be responsible, and then that is the self-sabotage. That's the self-sabotage. There's a little part inside of us that gets this kink, existential kink of like being rebellious, being bad. Like it gets off on it. And I'm just now trying to figure out like, which part of me does want us to not blossom so much, not be so excited, not be so full of myself, not be so beautiful and bright. Which part of me is saying that, or so I'm inquiring. I'm inquiring, and then I've been receiving some confessions, and I think a confession, my definition of confession is it's an awareness that's wrapped in judgment, probably by yourself or by others. It's been conditioned in you from others that that this is something that's bad or undesirable or does not meet the preferences of others, and therefore if you do it, it's unfavorable, and and therefore when you do it, you're kind of like, I hope nobody finds out about that, but I'm gonna confess it. So a confession is just a self-awareness. I'm coughing. Sometimes I'm like, oh, my throat chakra is like, oh, you're getting into some deep stuff here. Maybe I'm expressing. Probably have some confessions in there. Confessions of self-sabotaging. So what are the little things that we do to keep ourselves in line, to put ourselves back in our own place, that we know is going to have a much higher price of admission or consequence than we'd like, but for the immediate, it might provide a little bit of pleasure, might provide a little bit of rebelliousness against the grind that we have going on around us. So that's what I'm thinking is happening. You know, we're walking around all day doing things for others. You know, even if you have a job and you don't own your own business, you're doing something for someone else ultimately. You have rules and operating manuals and standard operating procedures that you have to follow to, you know, to earn your keep, to keep your keep the flow of the money coming in. So you're not really following your own autonomy there in ways we have to do, right? We have to pay the bills. And but some of it just goes against your better judgment, your better knowing, like your true nature, and you're like, oh, soul sucking job, I gotta do this. So you like go into the bathroom and fucking jack off, or do a line of cocaine, or fucking flip around on your phone. You're just like, I gotta get away from that madness, and I need a little bit of something to jolt me back into a different frequency. I gotta get my head in the game. So, you know, we're all just riding a wave of frequencies, of trying to find the sweet spot in the day that gets us through. And sometimes alcohol is the reward at the end of that day. Like, oh, god damn it, it's happy hour! Who wants to go to happy hour? Because I'd like to get happy. And we know, like, just one drink to get me, like, whew, to transition from what I just had to go through to now I deserve to, like, wind down a little bit, you know? And that's the intention, right? Like, we do deserve that. We deserve that. We deserve to get ourselves into that frequency. But then the price of admission oftentimes is one drink leads to two drinks, leads to three drinks, and then you're like angry texting, you didn't do your laundry, piles up in the corner, you're like, fuck it, I don't even feel like making the dinner that I was gonna make now, and I'm just gonna order in. And I mean, then it snowballs, and then you wake up the next morning and now you got to go back to this other thing that you're not really loving, and you've got now all this shit going on, and you probably have some sort of physical detoxification that's coming in. Your body's like, get this poison out of me, so I'm gonna like spring on the headache and be giving them the runs. Whatever we get from alcohol. A horrible night's sleep, probably. You're probably cranky. So what am I going to do today to make myself feel better during the day? So this is starting to sound very doom and gloom and dire, and it's reality, right? It's one reality. It's one reality. It's a reality that a general consensus has fallen into in order to. There's wildlife out there. I'm watching the wildlife. Yep. Hi, good morning. Sorry. No worries. So cute. The doggy is like, I'm going to explore the neighborhood. Come explore. That poor guy. He's got a harness on and a big leash. He's not allowed to roam very free. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, self-sabotage. So back to me. Back to me and my journaling. My self-sabotage. Yeah, when I've had this notice over the last few years when I feel like I'm like, all right, I see the light. I see the light. I'm moving towards the light, and I'm like, boo, 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 and I'm dancing, and I'm excited, and I feel really fucking good about it. And then things spring up, pop back in, you know, come around the corner, and I'm like, I don't know, everything's going great. Why not add a little, like, that could be fun. That could be fun. That could be fun. And they are fun. And here's the thing is, like, none of it's bad. our choices and the opportunities and the options and the possibilities are endless for us to pleasure ourselves, you know? Um, Going shopping, right? Like, I got a little extra money in my pocket. Like, I'm gonna go buy myself some nice things to make myself feel really, really good. Well, I could have used that money instead for, paying this bill or doing this over here or being more responsible. And I'm just giving examples of like, none of our choices um, are bad. We have endless, humans have created endless options for ourselves to go and find ways, things to make ourselves feel comfortable, to alter our consciousness. And so some of them dip into the realm of sabotaging, because it's like, oh, I'm feeling really, really good over here. Now I deserve this, even though I know this might feel good for a minute, but it's probably not going to be, in the long run, good for me. It's going to make me bloated. It's going to give me a hangover. It's going to it's going to put me in debt. I mean, or it's not going to get me out of debt. I mean, the spectrum is wide on the self-sabotage of what we can do too much of, but instead of that, on the opposite side of like, instead of self-sabotaging, we can encourage, like, how much more can how good can this get? This is pretty fucking good right now and it's feeling really good. Why don't I do more of what I'm doing right now that's feeding my energy, and see where that goes, instead of trying to make myself limited or contract or restrict or pull back or, lessen it up because it's just too much. And, how the phrase itself is, oh, how this is as good as it gets. Like, we say that like with exuberance. Oh man, this is as good as it gets. It's like, well, fuck. Why wouldn't I want it to get better? This is pretty fucking awesome. Then, so there's this human phenomenon of it's all around us. It's pervasive of too much. I sit around these medicine circles and women's circles and journeys, and like the common theme is, I'm trying to let myself be me. I'm trying to let myself be out there. I've always been too much for someone else. I'm too much for them. Well, you probably are. You're going to be too much for anyone, because every one person has a little bit of too much in them for someone else's liking. So let's just all be too much and see where that goes. Like, when I'm feeling good and I'm doing something that I like, and it doesn't have a horrible, consequence at the end of it, it's all a spectrum, right? Like, I can do things that make me feel good that can fall into a spectrum of self-sabotage, too much. So it's how do we just listen to our own little intuitive hearts and say, oh, I'm gonna indulge in some fantastical self-love in ways that I enjoy, that make me feel good. And the better I feel, the more I can do my part in my job, in my responsibilities, in my obligations, because that's where we live. We live in a world of self-made responsibilities and obligations, and in order to meet them, to fulfill them, to succeed, to thrive, the thriving part is where we're actually enjoying ourselves so that we can perform. All right, that's the end. Self-sabotage. Let's just, instead of confessing to the things that we're doing to try to help make ourselves feel better, just call it self-love. Like, I'm gonna do this thing that makes me feel good, and I know that, like, afterwards I might have to clean up a little bit of a mess, and I'm willing to do that for right now. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it while I'm cleaning up the mess, because I'm just going to revel in the moment of when I was having some joy with it. And just like a paint project, like it gets messy. It gets messy. You're going to have to clean up the mess afterwards, but then you get to enjoy the 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 fruits of your labor. The fruits of your indulgences. So yeah, enjoy, 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 and revel in your indulgences so that you can get through the day. Cheers.